wow. The first one has
another
puppet.
So he does. This one does not have rules, believe it or not.
Whew.
Yes! It just has better rules.
So
like you don't have
if your parents
Because
drink
it has
coffee,
treasures of knowledge.
you should know exactly what this is.
Yeah.
It's a coffee filter.
Of course I know.
What does a filter do?
Of course I know. Got me.
Guilty.
Guilty as charged. No, let.
So how a filter works, especially in a coffee filter, is you're going to put something solid in it, like coffee grounds, and you're going to pour water through it. And it's going to filter out the coffee grounds, and the water is going to go through. So in effect, it's going to clean the water, right? We'll have a demonstration of that.
Not with those.
Not with those.
Okay, are we ever gonna? And this time, are we just gonna stay this far back?
You're fine there.
Is that all that's in the treasure chest?
Oh no. I like to keep you waiting with bated breath.
Good.
It's like a suspenseful movie where you never find out what's going on until the very end.
What the?
You didn't know we were going to be cooking out here, did you?
Oh no.
Lost in space. No.
No. I'm not excited. I'm excited.
The
new one, yeah, there's a new.
It's dirty water.
Yeah.
I don't think it's water.
It's water. And it's got mud
And we're gonna pour it through
and
the
minerals
filter.
and
No,
plants and bacteria.
We're gonna see it if it drains. Bacteria.
So over here, though, I have a wetland. A wetland that we have built. We took rocks and sand, and these guys are volunteers. The duckweed showed up on its own, but we're happy it's here. It's making its own wetland, and we're going to pour some of this dirty water into our wetland and see if it filters. Do you think the water that's going to come out the bottom is going to be cleaner than the water I have here that I'm going to put in the top?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
So we're going to form a hypothesis. We're going to make a guess about what we think is going to happen. So our hypothesis is going to be that the water is going to come out cleaner. Let's test it. You ready?
Ooh,
All right.
Fun. And now we decide when we pour it.
All right.
3.
Actually, might need to.
Clean it up.
Take some debris out.
We
I
got
don't think it's
We got
not
some
clean
goodness in the
water,
bottom.
so you can't clean it out.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
That's definitely cleaner.
I knew
it.
No, you said it again. I said
But
yes.
it's dirty because the glass was dirty. No, Kava, I said it would be
But it's cleaner than we started, right?
much cleaner.
It'll probably be cleaner.
We did it again, it'd probably be even cleaner. If I used a cleaner vessel, it would probably even cleaner. So, for our very first reason wetlands are beneficial, we're going to write filters water.
That's all we're gonna write.
Or however you want to word it.
I have already have one written down in the number one
Filters
space.
water.
Kava, how do you spell filters?
F-I-L.
Wait. F-I.
F-I-Fi.
Fills water. F-I what?
L. Fill.
T-E-R.
T-E-R.
F.
Yes.
And then everybody knows how to spell.
Water.
W-A-T-E-R.
W-A-T-E-R.
I'm just gonna write fills water.
Filters water.
No, you have to write filters.
Or cleans. That works better too.
And now our hands are so dirty.
We're gonna progress to the second line. But
I'm
in a minute.
actually on the first one now. So I wrote one down.
All right. Everyone have filters water down for the first reason. All right. We're gonna discuss our second reason wetlands are beneficial.
Okay, this one, the last one.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spider. What's this?
No,
It's a
Sponge.
sponge.
Why would it clean things?
no biker.
What do sponges do?
Soak up water.
They soak up water. Well,
These are not bike trails.
No.
I want you to come with me on a journey.
Why is there a house? Why is there a Monopoly piece? Yeah, why is there a Monopoly piece? Oh, are we gonna play a
So we have a town here Who wants to name this town? Yes.
Marshland.
Marshland. All right. So Marshland, USA. Could be anywhere USA. So city council got together one day, and they decided that the wetland that was next to the town wasn't really helping anybody out that much, and they had a parking problem in town. There weren't enough places for all the cars to park, so they decided, well, let's just pave over that wetland and make it into a parking lot. That way we can have places for the cars to park. That seemed like a good idea, right?
No.
Let's find out. So they took out the wetland, and for a while it worked out really well. There were lots of places for cars to park. The streets weren't so busy and congested. But then they had a really, really wet rain year. It rained, kind of like last year. It rained, and rained, and rained,
And then
and rained, and rained. What's the problem here?
flooded.
It's flooded.
Town's flooded.
And
Because
there's
they
no
got rid
wetland
of the
too.
Martian.
Cooper, I can't see.
So the city council had an emergency meeting at a different city hall because their city hall was flooded. They went to the next town over. And they decided, well, you know, the parking lot's great, but we've never had a flooding problem before, and we've had big storms. Maybe it has to do for the wetland. We should put the wetland back, don't you think?
But how?
Oh.
Oh.
If you can build a wetland in a tank,
Oh.
you can build a wetland in real life.
Yeah.
So they decided, they voted to put the wetland back.
No more parking lot.
What happened?
All the water went. Oh my God, that is.
All the water went away.
Actually-
You watched me do it. I didn't pour it out.
No.
It actually. You poured out a little bit. Disappeared.
Maybe a little bit splash, but it's all in the sponges, right?
And what happens if you pour more water in?
But that's what sponges do. So, what is our second benefit of a wetland, do you think?
Get away, mosquito. Sucks up water.
Absorbs water.
How do you absorb?
Or sucks up. Or holds water.
How do you absorb?
Or sucks up.
Or it sucks up.
Sucks up. A-F.
Absorb. A-B.
Wait.
B.
Wait.
How do you spell sucks up?
Erase that.
Let's do sucks up. That one sounds easier. S. U.
Well, I already wrote my own spelling.
You can write it any way
That's
you
fine.
like.
However you like.
S-U?
C, K.
S, that's it.
S.
Yep. How
Water.
many? So we had 3 plants. I'm gonna put a line on the second one. Since that's.
Wow.
I can.
All right.
Filters.
So can you think of somewhere, or maybe several somewheres in the United States where something similar has happened? What's up, Skylar?
Maybe Florida during.
Florida. Maybe Louisiana? New Orleans? Maybe Texas and Hurricane Harvey?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Florida.
That one's
Sonoma
been
County
recent.
every year.
Pretty much every year.
born on the day Hurricane Harvey.
Weather happens no matter where you are, and it rains a lot depending on where you are. But places that have taken out wetlands had extreme flooding events as well. And they figured out that if they put the wetlands back like they are in New Orleans, that they have less of a flooding problem next go around. So this is a real life application for why wetlands are beneficial and important.
Can you do it again? It was so cool.
It was pretty cool. You can do it at home. Now,
Very itchy too.
I do have one question for you. Do you think a wet sponge or a dry sponge is going to absorb more water?
Dry sponge.
Dry sponge.
Did anybody say what?
Did anyone say what?
Yes. You said what?
Arabella, did you say what?
Yeah.
You would be right.
I would.
Yep.
Why?
Anyone? Any guesses on why? So think
just
about.
a
Remember
wa-
how Ranger Wren was talking about the astronauts in the space station and how water globs tend to float by themselves?
There's mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's food.
Die mosquito.
Wait.
So the globs are going to
water.
float by themselves, and if it runs into another glob, what's going to happen?
They join.
They're going to join and become a bigger glob, right?
So you want.
That's what happens. So
What sponge is better?
water's attracted to
Martians are
water.
better. That's why what nitrogen.
Water is hydrophilic, meaning it likes water. What is something that's hydrophobic? It's afraid of it.
A lot of the time liquid nitrogen. And people
Or something
who are
that's
allergic to it.
hydrophobic, like wool or synthetic clothing. So that's why we tell you not to wear cotton sweatshirts.
I have a wool
Or oil.
jacket
Yep.
in my car.
So wool and synthetic materials are hydrophobic. So if you're sweating or it's raining and you don't get cold because it sheds the water off. Fabrics like cotton are hydrophilic. So they're going to absorb all of that moisture and hold it against your
Like
skin and
towel.
make you cold. Yep.
Yeah, no, I
Just like a towel, cotton bath towel.
wool that.
All right, so our second benefit is that wetlands absorb or suck up.
I didn't know it absorbed that much.
Pretty crazy, right?
I thought it only absorbed a little bit. Nope, it absorbed that whole bottle of water.
That whole bottle of water
And you just placed it down. Boom.
went into the sponges.
That water just went to the bottom.
That water went on a
I think that
fantastic
town
journey.
should be named Monopoly.
Monopoly.
Or
No, my idea was Monopoly. Wait, so what's the third one?
Or Chronopolis.
I am glad you asked, Sage.
How about Monopoly? Town.
For our third and
so
final
dark.
benefit of a wetland,
Can we make our own?
what is it I have here?
Habitat. Habitat.
It's going to represent habitat. So what are my components of a habitat? Raise your hand. Cooper.
Air, water, light, food, and space.
Got 3 of them.
And
Shelter. So water, food, shelter, and space. So say I am a mama duck and I am looking for a place to bring my baby ducks. Does this look like a good place to do that? So or form a hypothesis. Yes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, this looks like a good place to do it. So do I have water?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got water. Do I have shelter?
Yeah. A lot of canary grass.
Lots of this is sluice sedge.
Or they can sleep under the skunk cabbage.
Or under the skunk cabbage.
No,
So if I'm a duck, I can dart into the sluice sedge and I can take cover if a hawk is coming. Do I have food?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there's all kinds of bugs that live in here. Ducks love to eat bugs. There's also little invertebrates that live in the water itself, which we will take a look at here in a minute.
Really?
And is there going to be space out here if I'm a duck as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So for your third
Habitat.
and final benefit is habitat.
How you write that?
You're right. Is
I'll help you.
The habitat.
How
So
you
write
write habitat?
habitat.
How you write that?
but you missed
H.
one. The living organisms in wetlands are part of the worldwide food chain.
They are part of the worldwide food chain.
I
As are you.
T
So that means, but still that makes
I mean A T.
Oh, wait,